Alright, this is my first ever video blog, and so I have some questions posed by my friend Bill Golgert. He just sent me a text. So let's rock and roll with this. Question number one is, how would you use past student data? And so I use it all the time to make decisions on how to help kids out. Maybe there's things that I didn't do well as a teacher in presenting the information or creating the classroom experience properly. And so maybe I didn't scaffold enough. So you might hear that where maybe I didn't provide enough support for students that struggle at times. And so I always go back on that. I reflect on myself, then I reflect on the students. Maybe they had a bad day, whatever that was, and then I always try to go back and meet with those students one-on-one or in small groups to better help them. Question number two is, how would you deal with ethnicity and race in your classroom? So I believe that everybody should be treated fairly and equally, first of all, and I love to hear students' stories of how they've grown up, where their parents are from, if they're from another country, what their country is like, what languages they speak. And so it just fascinates me, and it gives me just a better picture of who that student is. And so recently I had a student tell me that his family's from Palestine, and it was right after the tornado drill, how we hid under the desks. And he said that in their schools, they actually build the schools mostly underground because they always have threats of bombs and things. And it just gives me a perspective as far as, what this student has gone through, and then give me better empathy for that student and all students. Question number three is, I haven't interviewed yet, but my approach will be to be sincere and honest. That's a really good statement, and I totally agree with you. You got to be sincere and honest. You got to be honest in what you know, and be fully confident in what you know, but also realize that the ideas that you have are in theory right now. You haven't been able to practice them full scale in a year in a classroom. And so, when I went my first interview, I said these are things that I would like to do, that I'm going to try this year, that I'm going to see what works and what doesn't work, and I was honest with that. Totally good idea, whoever posted that. Number four, it says, I have not yet participated in an interview. However, I'm worried that there may be questions asked that are meant to stump you and that I'm not prepared to answer. And so if you're not prepared to answer them, you can always say, I don't know, in an interview, rather than making up some random junk, as always. But your biggest thing is try to be as prepared as possible. So they're going to ask you your philosophy of education, how you're going to deal with students, how you're going to deal with students who struggle or cause disciplinary issues. But, it's like how you're going to encourage all students, how you're going to work together with other teachers to collaborate. Maybe the use of technology in the classroom will come up. And so I would go ahead and Google as many possible questions as possible. Interview questions for educators, and that might help you out. And as a new teacher, how do you plan to bring your style of teaching into an already developed department? And so for me, what I do is I do my thing. And so I know what my philosophy is. I know what I'm going to try out. And my goal is always to see where other people are at. And so there's always, everybody's at a different place in their teaching experience. And so I'm always going to listen first. I'm going to listen a lot. So this past year, I've done a lot of listening. Last year, my first year, I did a lot of listening, trying to figure out why teachers are doing things a certain way. But I also know, too, that I'm going to create the best classroom experience for my students. And so my focus for the students is number one. And then also, over the course of time, you start to build relationships with other people, and you get to see what they do. And then you're also, I never push anything on another teacher. But if they have questions, I always invite them into my classroom. Hey, check out what I'm doing. I'm trying something new today. Let's see if it works, what doesn't work. And to have that discussion and to begin to build those relationships. And that takes time, of course. But these are the questions that I got from my friend Bill Golgert. Hopefully they help you out. If you have any follow-up questions, feel free to comment in my YouTube video below. And I'll talk to you next time.